Hello and welcome to the Caravan of Wisdom. I'm your host, Alexa.
And I'm Sam. Today we're embarking on a journey into one of the most beloved and debated collections of poetry ever written, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam.
A book of verses that has captivated the world for centuries, translated into countless languages, including a profoundly influential Hindi translation that brought its wisdom to millions. It's a work that can be read in a single sitting, but whose themes can occupy a lifetime of thought.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to take our time, slow down, and really unpack these themes. We've got a list here: living in the moment, doubt and faith, wine as a symbol, fate and destiny, the beauty of nature, mortality, questioning existence, seeking wisdom, the potter's wheel, embracing uncertainty, the tent of life, and the eternal cycle.
It's a rich tapestry, and what's fascinating is that these themes aren't separate. They're all interconnected. The poem's famous advice to seize the day isn't just a cheerful platitude. It's a radical philosophical conclusion drawn from a deep and often unsettling contemplation of the universe.
So where should we begin? I think we have to start with the most famous idea, the one everyone knows even if they've never read the Rubaiyat: living in the present moment.
Perfect. Let's begin there. Theme 1, living in the moment. So, Sam, if I say Carpe Diem to you, what comes to mind?
Oh, seize the day, Robin Williams and Dead Poet Society. The idea of not putting things off, of embracing life now. It often feels energetic, maybe a bit reckless, but in the Rubaiyat, it feels different. It feels more urgent and somehow more somber.
That's a brilliant distinction. In Khayyam, the Carpe Diem theme isn't just about enthusiasm. It's a direct response to a profound existential crisis. The poems constantly remind us of the brevity of life and the silence that follows. Listen to this famous quatrain, often cited as the core of the work. Quote, "The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line. Nor all thy tears wash out a word of it."
Wow. That's dark. There's no undo button. Time is linear and unforgiving. The past is irretrievable. So what's the point of dwelling on it? Or, for that matter, of worrying endlessly about a future you can't control?
Exactly. The past is gone, the future is unknown. The only reality we truly possess is the present. And Khayyam argues that to fret over what's lost or what's to come is to waste the only moment we actually have. This leads to his most famous prescription, another quatrain. A book of verses underneath the bough, a jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and thou beside me singing in the wilderness. O wilderness were paradise enow.
Enough. That's the key word, isn't it? Paradise isn't a distant heaven with pearly gates. It's this, right here. The simple, profound pleasures of companionship, poetry, nature, and wine. It's an argument for sufficiency, for finding paradise in the immediate sensory world.
Precisely. And this isn't just about lazy contentment. It's a philosophical stance. If the universe is vast and indifferent and our time is short, then the greatest wisdom, the most meaningful act, is to fully appreciate the beauty and love that is available to us now. It's a rebellion against meaninglessness through sensory joy.
It's almost like he's saying, we can't solve the big mysteries, so let's not torture ourselves. Let's instead celebrate the small, tangible mysteries right in front of us. But this celebration, this focus on the now, springs from a place of deep uncertainty, which brings us perfectly to our next theme, doubt and faith. Theme 2, doubt and faith. So Khayyam was a real historical figure, right? A Persian polymath of the 11th and 12th centuries. He was a mathematician, an astronomer, a scientist. So he had this incredibly rational, empirical mind.
Yes, he helped reform the Persian calendar, and he made significant contributions to algebra. This is crucial context. When Khayyam looks at the universe, he's doing so with the eyes of a geometer and a stargazer. He sees patterns, cycles, laws of nature. And when he compares this observable cosmos to the rigid dogmas of the religious authorities of his time, he finds a conflict.
So he's not an outright atheist, is he? It seems more nuanced.
It's deeply nuanced. He rarely dismisses God or the divine outright. Instead, he expresses a profound and troubled doubt about humanity's ability to understand it. He questions the promises and threats of organized religion. For instance, "O thou who man of baser earth didst make, and even in paradise devised the snake, for all the sin with which the face of man is blackened, man's forgiveness give and take."
That's almost audacious. He's pointing a finger. He's saying, you created us flawed. You introduced temptation, and yet you hold us accountable for the very flaws you built into us. It's a logical challenge to the concept of original sin and divine judgment.
It's the complaint of a rational mind against the paradox he can't reconcile. And this doubt isn't joyful. It's often agonizing. He's torn between the scientific truth he observes and the religious truths he was taught. In one quatrain, he laments that his thirst for knowledge is unquenchable, and that the more he learns, the less certain he becomes.
So his faith, or lack thereof, isn't a simple rejection. It's a sincere, painful seeking. He respects the mystery too much to accept easy answers. This intellectual honesty is what makes his turn towards earthly pleasures so powerful. It's not a frivolous escape. It's a consolation for a mind that has stared into the abyss and found no definitive answers.
Beautifully said. And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood elements of the Rubaiyat, the constant references to wine. Is it just about getting drunk? Or is there something much deeper going on here?
I have to be honest, when I first skimmed the Rubaiyat, I thought, this guy really likes his wine. It's everywhere, but it quickly becomes clear that it's operating on multiple levels.
Absolutely. On the most literal level, yes, it's about the physical wine. In an Islamic context where alcohol was forbidden, this itself was a rebellious act, a symbol of breaking free from rigid religious law. It's a toast to personal freedom.
But it's the symbolic levels that are so rich. What are the primary interpretations?
Well, first, wine is a symbol of spiritual ecstasy. This is a well-established trope in Sufi poetry. Think of Rumi or Hafiz. Wine represents divine intoxication, the bliss that comes from union with God. The tavern becomes a sacred space, more honest than the mosque, because the seeker is there out of genuine love, not fear of punishment or hope for reward.
So the beloved in the poem could be God, and the wine is the medium through which one connects with the divine.
Exactly. The second layer of symbolic is wine as the agent of truth and forgetfulness. It washes away cares, but more importantly, it strips away hypocrisy. It allows you to be your authentic self, to forget the artificial constraints of society and religion. It brings clarity.
And the third layer, which ties back to our first theme, is wine as the embodiment of the present moment. Drinking wine is an act that can only be done now. You can't drink yesterday's wine and you can't drink tomorrow's wine. It forces you into the present. So when Khayyam says drink wine, he's also saying be here now.
It's a perfect multivalent symbol. It encapsulates his entire philosophy. Reject empty dogma, seek authentic experience, and immerse yourself in the tangible reality of the present. But this raises a huge question. If we're supposed to seize the day, how much control do we actually have? Are our lives our own to seize? This leads us into the deep waters of fate and destiny.
A detailed walkthrough of the remaining themes. Theme 4, Fate and Destiny. This seizing the day idea is great, but what if the day has already been seized for us? The poems are full of imagery about predestination.
Discussion of the moving finger quote, the celestial scroll, the game of chess where we are the pieces moved by an unseen player. Key question? Is Khayyam a fatalist? Exploration of the tension between preordination and free will. The philosophy is to accept what you cannot change, fate, and master your response to it, your attitude, your choice to enjoy the present. This is the only true freedom.
Theme 5, The Beauty of Nature.
Amidst all this talk of fate and wine, we can't ignore the setting, the beautiful, transient world of nature. The recurring images of roses, dawn, nightingales, spring, nature as the ultimate teacher of cycles, life, death, rebirth.
The rose is beautiful because it fades. Its impermanence is what gives it value. This is a direct metaphor for human life. Appreciating nature is a form of mindfulness, a way to connect with the eternal cycle and find solace.
Theme 6, Mortality and Reflection.
The poems are haunted by death. It's not morbid, but it's ever present.
Examination of the memento mori tradition, the ruins of ancient palaces, the dust of great kings. Everyone from the mightiest emperor to the poorest beggar ends up as dust. Philosophical implication? This equalizing power of death isn't meant to depress us, but to liberate us from worldly ambitions and anxieties. Why strive for power that will turn to dust? Better to enjoy a simple, loving life.
Theme 7, Questioning Existence. The ultimate questions. Where did we come from? Why are we here? Where are we going? Khayyam has no definitive answers, but he insists on asking.
Analysis of quatrains that ponder creation. Are we part of a divine plan? A cosmic accident? The door of darkness. The poems often conclude that the answers are unknowable. We emerge from a dark unknown and return to it. Link to Theme 2. This fundamental questioning is the engine of the entire work. It's the reason the other themes exist.
Theme 8, Seeking Wisdom.
So if the answers are unknowable, why seek wisdom? What's the point?
The quest itself is the point. Discussion of encounters with wise men, sheiks, and astrologers. They all have partial answers, but no ultimate truth. The journey versus the destination. Khayyam values the sincere search more than the possession of a doubtful truth. The wise man is the one who knows he does not know.
Theme 9, the potter's wheel. This is one of the most powerful and recurring metaphors. The universe is a potter's shop, and we are the vessels on the wheel.
Exploration of the imagery, the clay, the shaping hand, the firing, and the eventual breaking. We are passive material in the hands of a creator. The vessel's questions. The pots question the potter about their purpose. The poem gives voice to the creation's confusion and anguish. Symbolism. It illustrates the cyclical nature of life, as in clay is reused, and the inevitability of returning to the earth.
Theme 10, embracing uncertainty. So pulling all this together, the overarching message seems to be make peace with not knowing.
Yes, the Rubaiyat is a guide to living well in a state of uncertainty. It's an anti-dogma manifesto. Practical philosophy. Relinquish the need for absolute answers. Let go of anxiety about the future. Find solace in the concrete and the present. Theme 11. The Tent of Life. Life is a temporary dwelling, a tent pitched in the desert for a single night.
This connects the mortality theme with the Carpe Diem theme. The impermanence of the tent isn't sad, it's what makes the night spent inside so precious.
The starry sky as the tent's canopy, the brevity of our stay?
Theme 12, the eternal cycle. Finally, we come to the grandest scale, the cosmic cycle. The poems reflect on the rise and fall of empires, the death and rebirth of stars and moons. Our individual lives are brief flashes in this endless process.
So the final wisdom is to see ourselves as part of this vast, beautiful, and terrifying cycle. To not rage against it, but to appreciate our moment within it. To drink the wine, love your companion, and listen to the poetry while the wheel turns.
So Sam, after walking through all these themes, what's your overall impression of the Rubaiyat now? Is it a depressing book, as some have called it, or a joyful one?
I think it's profoundly realistic. It starts from a position that could be seen as depressing. Life is short, death is certain, and we have no sure knowledge of why we're here. But it doesn't leave us there. It offers a prescription. It says, given this reality, here is how to live a meaningful life. By loving, by appreciating beauty, by being present. The joy isn't naive, it's a hard-won joy. It's a hard-won joy that stares directly into the abyss and still chooses to sing. It's ultimately comforting.
I love that. A hard-won joy. That's exactly it. The Rubaiyat doesn't offer easy answers. It offers a companion for the questioning soul. It's a friend who says, I don't know either, but look at the moon, taste this wine. Isn't this moment wonderful?
And that's a philosophy for the ages. It's why these verses, written 1,000 years ago in Persia, still feel so urgently relevant today.
They do indeed. Well, that's all the time we have for this caravan stop. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the themes of Omar Khayyam's Rubaiyat.
Join us next time on the Caravan of Wisdom as we explore another timeless classic.
Until then, remember, a book of verses underneath the bough, a jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and vow.